Hello everybody, my name is Justin Gatu for Pro Football Exclusive. Thank you so much for checking out tonight's video. Tonight guys, I'm here talking about the episode 1 of Fourth and Loud, which is the Arena Football mini-series talking about the LA Kiss. And if you guys do not know much about the LA Kiss, I'd expect you to stop this video right now, go back and go see the documentary or the first episode of this mini-series. I know it's on AMC right now. I know they do have a couple more airings in the middle of the night, so if you guys were watching this here late at night and you have not seen the first episode, I would expect you guys to stop this video, go out and watch it, and then come back and watch my review of it, because I think this is going to be an excellent mini-series. And I've been tweeting over the past 3 or 4 days gearing up for this mini-series. I've said I've been waiting for something for of this sort of stature from another football league, whether it's CFL, whether it's the Arena Football League, something of that sort of nature. But the Arena Football League hopped on it. It's kind of like an off version of Hard Knocks. This is Fourth and Loud is going to be the LA Kiss thing, and they're talking about this is primarily a really interesting series, because I would think that they would be talking about maybe the Portland Thunder, but decided to go with the LA Kiss, and I can understand why, due to their high profile owners and Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, the singer, and the performers of Kiss. They decided to buy the team or start a team out in LA. They have not had an LA team in a while now. There could potentially be another LA team joining them, and it's going to be the LA Kiss and possibly even the LA Raiders. The Raiders could possibly be moving over to from Oakland over to Los Angeles, as there's a lot of rumors coming out of that over the past couple of years, and the talks are still are now heating up in Oakland. But now that we have a team in Los Angeles, it is the Arena Football League team, the LA Kiss. This was an episode where it's trying to get you a little bit more familiar to the surroundings, what Stanley and Gene Simmons mindset, how are they going to do this? They pretty much left a whole lot of it on new head coach Bob McMillin. I think he's a very much of a badass inside the locker room. He wants what's best for his team, and this was, like I said, this was all about getting used to getting familiar with the coaches and the players. And they did a couple of player profiles, trying to talk to the players, talk about their background, how they get into football, and they looked at a small core of players. One of the guys that really stand out to me was J.J. Radernick. They also talked about the Bell brothers, Bo and B.J. Bell, the two brothers there. Well, I think Bo plays linebacker, and I think B.J. plays defensive lineman. So they're doing some highlights there. J.J. Radernick is another highlighted player in this. He's a former interviewee when Pro Football when Pro Football Exclusive was, starting up and everything. I started interviewing a lot of Arena Football players, and J.J. Radernick was one of the players that I've interviewed. So, having him be, having me watch him, it felt great, because I was like, I interviewed him. Great to see him, getting some knowledge around, around television, including, on the LA Kiss football team. So he was highlighted there. There's a couple of other guys, Joe Mortensen. He's rocking a beard, the black beard. I think it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of great characters in there. They've been primarily, this entire episode was primarily all around Bob McMillin, and also Jorrick Calvin, and former Hawaii quarterback, CFL quarterback, former Washington Redskins quarterback, Colt Brennan. And Colt Brennan was at once, one of the most, spot on, development quarterbacks that can make a big splash in the NFL at some point. But a lot of, off the field issues. He's bounced around from league to league. He was originally a member of the Washington Redskins. Did not, go beyond the Washington Redskins. But in this episode, they were talking about his current health point, because in 2010 or 2011, he got into a very serious car crash, and it messed up his head. There was bleeding inside of his skull, I think is what they said, or in his brain, and it was very hard for him to really rebound from this. So they were primarily lurking around this entire episode at looking at the players, looking at Bob McMillin, and what's his mindset going forward, and also the injuries of Jorrick Calvin, who's another guy I'm going to be talking about, and also Colt Brennan. So talking about Jorrick Calvin's a very interesting cornerback. He played cornerback for Troy University. He got drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. In the final preseason game, Jorrick Calvin missed a team bus, and that got him cut from the NFL. Going into this documentary, they signed him, I think it was actually on Christmas Day, they signed him to be one of the original signees, the first signees of the LA Kiss. And Jordan Calvin was dealing with, numerous injuries, but he was not able to, rebound and get 100% healthy. They had him, get second opinions, and he was not, when it comes to the practice area, he was not able to compete. So he held him out of practice a while, and that really affected his roster status, and he put him on the bubble, and he was eventually gone during this episode. Talking about the practice, the practices, Bob McMillan was not happy at all. They did not have half of the football players that they're scouting and everything during that, entire, when they had street tryouts, having, people coming off the streets who are wanting to play football. During those tryouts, they didn't have a lot of, the equipment, the proper equipment to really, test these guys out, show them their strengths and weaknesses. They did not have the right equipment, so they went over to, the owner Stanley, Brett Bochy, he started getting really mad at them because they didn't have the proper equipment. So that's going to be, a storyline that's going to be continuing going on, going into episode 2. Are they going to have that right equipment? So, other than that, that was a huge chunk of the entire episode. Going into the near end, because we had this, huge segment where they started, having these, 30-second segments and they head to commercial. I wish they could, cut the commercials, and I think they could expand the episodes a little bit more. Have at least 2 to 3 minutes of commercials. But, at near the end, it will start, getting more surrounded about the rehab, they're trying to, understand, the entire injury concerns over Colt Brennan. Now, Colt Brennan has, gone to multiple neurologists, so they're trying to get second opinions and everything. He was actually held out of multiple practices because he was just not cleared. The team did not want to, start him or, start taking, contact during the practices. Bob McMillan did not know, on the other half that he was cleared only by, certain neurologists, and then all of a sudden he puts him in pads at one time, and then, he got, a mouthful from, Stanley, got a mouthful from Gene Simmons, he got a mouthful from Brett Bochy, and you cannot put a player, if he's not cleared by the multiple neurologists that he's gone to, you cannot place him in contact form. He was not placing him in contact, but that's what Bob McMillan was trying to get his point across. It's just that he knows how to protect his players. Bob McMillan is a former Arena Bowl champion. He's a former 14-year veteran of the game, and he knows how to keep his players. He's a former coach as well, or current coach right now, so he knows how to protect his players from contact practices to non-contact practices. So he did not put him through the whole contact practices because we're still in the early goings of finding out who's going to be the right fit for this team or who's not going to be the right fit for this team. But McMillan overall got a big, his head chopped off by those guys, and they decided to, start, sidelining Colt Brennan from multiple practices. And going into the end of the episode, they decided to cut Colt Brennan. This is before everything started, coming down to real life. And Colt Brennan was, really emotional when they figured out that they would not clear him. They said, possible retirement from the sport of football could be a possibility. He was really emotional about it. And I'm not saying, Colt Brennan said he was given everything that he ever wanted. He has everything that he ever wanted. I mean, he says that football does not determine who you are. It's a game that everybody loves, and it's, that doesn't command your life. You have a family at home and everything like that. But, it's a game that everybody loves. It brings people together. And Jordan Calvin also, both of these guys are 2 huge losses to the LA Kiss. I think those 2 could have helped out this team, in 2014, but, due to their injuries, you got to look out for how is it going to put this team into a winning form. So at the end of this episode, it was very emotional to see Jordan Calvin and Colt Brennan leave because due to their circumstances, Jordan Calvin's releasing really, it made a huge impact on me. I was like, man, just getting that, notification, it really signifies, on how it feels to really get cut, how they really sit you down, not just, the head coach is saying it. It's also the trainers and the co-owner, everything like that. It makes a huge impact on you that you got cut because of injury reasons. You can only have a certain amount of players on your roster. The Arena Football League, I would like to say it was 25 players, so they had to part ways with Colt Brennan, had to part ways with Jordan Calvin, and that gives the big window to J.J. Radonick to start or give him that slight edge to become the opening day or the first game of the season season of the opening day starter for the LA Kiss, and that can pretty much concludes episode 1. So if you guys have not seen the first episode of Fourth and Loud, I almost said Fourth and Long there, I would really suggest that you guys go and watch it. It's an excellent documentary. I'm so excited for next Tuesdays to watch episode 2 as we're going to figure out who makes the squad. We all know who made the squad this year, but you know what? I would like to keep doing these videos. I think it will be great for people who have not seen it or they're trying to catch up on it. I think the Arena Football League should continue to do these, and I think it's a very great miniseries. I am very impressed with episode 1. Just cut down on the commercial times. I'm going to be like about 15 minutes of commercial times at the end of the documentary after the huge chunk of it was over. Cut down on the commercials. I think it'll be an excellent way to start doing an AMC kind of continuation, the partnership with the Arena Football League as we continue to have, like their version of partners. Just call it Fourth and Loud, or, change the name. So maybe we can start seeing some more of this. So let me hear you guys' opinion about the first episode of Fourth and Loud. I'm Justin Gotze for Pro Football Exclusive. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button as we will be continuing to come on here and talk about Fourth and Loud throughout the entire series. I'm Justin Gotze again for Pro Football Exclusive. I'll catch you guys in my next video.